Joined now by Bret Baier, host of Special Report. He is going up to the Hill today to talk to the Speaker. Good morning, Bret. How are you?
Hey, Hugh. Good morning.
Now, what do you want to get out of Speaker Johnson? I want to know what they're going to do on the budget and reconciliation, but what are you looking for?
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I want to pass forward. I want to kind of lay out the agenda and how he's going to get there with such a slim majority.
Now, I am confused over whether or not they're going to be two reconciliation and budget bills or one. I've always been a big fan of doing everything fast and as fast as can possibly be done, but there have been some intimations of two bills broken into two. What do you know?
I think that's what I'm hearing, too. There's a lot of people that want to do immigration first, but there's a battle between that and dealing with budget, taxes, and where things stand. Also, in the background, you've got Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and what they're doing with Doge and how that is going to factor in with congressional wishes and wants. I think it's going to be, fascinating, but I think it'll all happen pretty quickly within the first few weeks of the administration.
Is there any reason to believe that they can't do the tax reform and the budget at the same time, and the border at the same time? Because the rule for budget reconciliation for the benefit of the Steelers fans, anything that has to do with taxes and spending fits. You're not allowed to do pure policy. But you can do a lot of tax and spend on the border, and you can do all as tax and spend on the revenue on the tax code side, isn't it, Bret?
Yeah. You can bank shot the border and get it under a budget reconciliation. I mean, listen, Democrats did that a lot, and I think that Republicans feel like they have the leeway to be able to do that. The question is priority, and can you put it all in one? The biggest question for Speaker Johnson is, when push comes to shove and the inauguration happens, he will lose, another 3 seats. And it'll be 217 to 215. You can't lose any Republicans, and maybe you can convince a couple of Democrats who are in, red states to vote. But if Democrats, like tradition, hold the line and all sing from the same sheet of music, you cannot lose votes, and that's challenging.
I've got a column over at Fox Opinion this morning that says Donald Trump needs to back up Speaker Johnson and say to everyone in the caucus, put your wish list in. We're going to hammer out a tax bill and a border bill. And if you get what you want, great. If not, you're going to vote for it anyway, or Donald Trump's going to run someone against you in the primary. Do you think the president will be brass-knuckled that way?
I do think he's already started kind of flexing his muscles up on the Hill. I mean, you look at Brian Mast is now the chairman of Foreign Relations, skipping over two others ahead of him in seniority, and Brian Mast is the congressman representing Mar-a-Lago. So he has a tight relationship with the president, and apparently the president-elect flexed some muscle there. I think he's doing it numerous times, and I expect him to probably do it right after the inauguration.
Now, Bret, I want to go back to the weekend. Last night on Special Report, we talked about President Trump's interview with Kristen, who's your friend and mine. And I thought she did a fine job, although a lot of the questions were looking backwards, not looking forwards. What intrigued me the most was his comment, almost an aside, on the Dreamers. It upsets a lot of hardcore immigration people, but I think Donald Trump's instinct is to be as inclusive as possible about people in the country while getting rid of the bad people. Is that your understanding of his approach?
Yes. And, having talked to numerous people, including the president-elect, I think that this whole thing about going after criminals, terrorist gangs, is going to be the main focus at the beginning. And they're going to see how it develops. But it's not going to be this ominous kicking in doors on grandma. And I think that the reason he chose Kirsten is that, he wanted to make that message to the center left, to say there'll be reasonable actions here. And, the whole retribution thing, he says his retribution will be success. Now, that said, he said he should maybe jail all the people on the January 6th committee. I think that's hyperbole, but I think that his message was more moderate in trying to get started.
I made a point last night, I'm not sure I made it well, that President Obama won big in 2008. When he took office in 2009, they lurched left. They did Obamacare. Joe Biden won big in 2020, or at least with a significant electoral college lead. And the first thing he did was go left in two reconciliation budget expansion. It would be nice if someone went to the center. I mean, politically, it would be nice if someone decided to build out a coalition. You think Donald Trump thinks that way?
I think he does. I mean, listen, I think that his focus, I mean, listen, his demeanor is different, don't you think, from 2016 to 2024? I think his demeanor is different. He's not as much under fire. I mean, obviously his critics are always firing at him, but not like it was in the Russiagate lead up after the inauguration in 2016. I think he feels like he has some running room with the mandate, the popular vote. And I do think that he's thinking about legacy and how that shapes up and what that looks like in the early part of the term, I think will tell us a lot.
Last question. JD Vance went down to North Carolina last week to speak on behalf of President-elect Trump to the people of North Carolina about getting FEMA to ease up on their rules against mobile homes and floodplains. Pretty easy decision to make. And I thought there's a glimpse of what JD Vance is going to be doing for the next 4 years, going wherever Trump cannot or will not go and he's going to be much more visible than Kamala Harris was. Do you agree with my prediction on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to have a large portfolio, and he's going to, travel and push the administration's agenda in different ways in different states, and really help in those swing states, especially in ahead of 26. We're always one election away from solving the big things. I do think that there's about a year and a half here where they can get a lot done. The question is, and that's the question today, is with such a House, can they do it? And that's what I hope to ask Speaker Johnson.
Yeah, I'm more than a little bit afraid that the 5-seat majority is gone by happenstance, accident, and tragedy before you know it. And they better get a lot done in the first reconciliation because the door may close on them. I mean, they'll get the Walt seat filled and they'll get the Elise Stefanik seat filled pretty quickly.
And the Gates seat,
yeah, but they will still need to, it will fall apart. It just will. Bret Baier, good to talk to you. Have a good trip to the Hill today. Say hello to the Speaker for us. Look forward to hearing more about that on tonight's special report with Bret Baier. Thank you.